Hanging out with you inside the Cafe Kubal studios. You're also watching on Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT and being shared on Facebook.com/LiveNowDT and on YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT. So however you're tuning into the show this morning, we thank you so much for listening and watching Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time here, where sports truly meets that thing called life. So we appreciate you being here and appreciate you taking some time with us, as you always do every Monday through Friday, like I said, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We got plenty of show coming up for you today, and we're going to get back into the check down segment that we have the opportunity to do every single month with Prince-Tyson Gulley. We typically do it every other week, so a couple times a month. We had taken a week off, and we're happy to be back here in July, here on July 7th, 7/7/2021. Check down with DT and PTG. Of course, I'm DT, and PTG, Prince-Tyson Gulley, will be coming up in a second, as we are about to talk with Prince-Tyson Gulley, as we did with many of his brethren inside Syracuse Orange Football history. We spoke with Jay Bromley as well as Eric Kroom, Julian Wiggum, and Antoine Bailey, and now it's time to get Prince-Tyson Gulley's thoughts, and we'll be doing that inside of Check Down, a special segment that I created, in the world of sports, and really with running backs a lot, there's that check down opportunity. And so Prince-Tyson Gulley, who made his hay in being a check down for Ryan Nassib, is here in a segment for us, Check Down, where you survey the field. Things might not always go exactly how you plan them. The first plan, the second plan, the third plan doesn't work, and that's why you have the check down. The ability to plan, ad-lib, and be successful. That is why we called it the segment that we did. So Check Down will be coming up in just a second with Prince-Tyson Gulley on video here hanging out with us. And then in hour number 2, as you know, we always will stop the video in hour 1, go to a video in hour 2, because our fantasy football content is very direct, has its own page on the website, and we do so much with fantasy football. We're kind of like a virtual fantasy football book for you every season. So Mike Sofka will be joining me for the Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub. Today's topic will be sleepers and overrated players. So those people that may be overlooked, as well as those players that people are looking at too much. So we'll get into all that. And of course, I'm wearing my Italy jersey. Spain and Italy, I couldn't choose between the two. I have heritage and a connection back to both. So whoever won, I was going to be happy. Whoever lost, I was going to be a little bit sad. And I'm very happy this morning that Italy will be moving on. So shout out to Italia. Viva Italia and Viva España. So very much appreciation to Spain and Italy. And much love to everybody from there and to my families. And God bless. So know that I would have worn anyone proudly here between Italy and Spain. And Spain, congrats on a great season. I look forward to seeing you and play soon. Italy, let's go win a championship. So with that being said, we're going to take a step aside for a fast break. When we spin back around here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, we will be getting into Check Down with Prince-Tyson Gulley on video and audio as we discuss a lot of different things. You're about to learn about Prince-Tyson Gulley in a way that you've never learned about him before, probably. And, so this is huge for Syracuse fans, and we're going to have a big-time discussion on name, image, and likeness, and what the NCAA really is. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, and facebook.com/live-now-dt, as well as on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. All of that is inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, and we are here for Check Down. Check Down is that segment dedicated to DT and PTG, and I'm that side of it with DT, Dan Tortora, PTG right there. Prince-Tyson Gulley hanging out with me, Syracuse running back alum. And today we have a big, I call it the meaty lasagna of a conversation. We have to dissect the lasagna that is the name, image, and likeness, a.k.a. NIL, a.k.a. a very difficult thing the NCAA has to deal with. So, my brother, first and foremost, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I feel great. Got some good things going on, man. It's great to be back here with Check Down, man. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks, been a minute, and obviously missed having you here. So before we get into the name, image, and likeness thing, I like to talk about, obviously all throughout the week, you know that my tagline for Wake Up Call is where sports meets life. So what are you grateful for? What have you been grateful for the last week, maybe the last couple of days? What are you grateful for here on a Wednesday morning?
Man, honestly, I got to see my family. I'm very grateful for my family. I got to see my cousins and my brothers. They all came from out of town. And it was just a great weekend for us. And it just, COVID has stopped a lot of things. We weren't able to have family functions. And just to come together and do what we do when we get together was amazing. So I'm just grateful for my family, honestly.
What did you guys get to do? What was some of the Gulley family festivities?
It's just, it's just a mixture, cooking, and we do a lot of line dancing. We do a lot of just having fun. We play spades tournaments. We just love on each other, man. I miss that. I miss that part. Like I said, COVID slowed that down a lot, and it was great to see all my family come together and get back to how we are, and just made me remember, like, yeah, this is what it's about,
You said line dancing. I didn't know the Gullies got down with some line dancing.
Oh yeah, man. My feet word came from line dancing. That's where it all came from. Yeah, we do a lot of that. Ohio, Midwest, we were steppers up here, so we do a lot of line dance. Like most of the world knows about cha-cha slide and the wobble and Cupid shuffle, but we got more line dances than that. So, we kind of like the boogie down up here.
And I got to ask you, so you say line dancing's been a part of your life for a long time. When did it start?
It's just really a childhood thing. I have the Empress of line dancing. She's my aunt. She teaches everyone. She teaches classes. She's been doing it since I was younger, and we just all been doing it since we were young. It's just like a part of our culture, honestly.
So I tried to do it. I consider myself a dancer. I have Italian and Hispanic blood. We also believe we have, some blood that dates back to the Sudan. And when you put all three of those things together, it's dance relevant. Like my blood only knows how to move. So I would consider myself rhythmic, but I've only lined or attempted a line dance like twice in my life. So how long did it take you to get into it? Because the last time I did it, I was living in Orlando, working at Disney, working at ESPN Radio. And my buddy was like, "Oh, you got to come to this country club." And I'm kidding you not, the massive dance floor, massive. And I go out there with him. I'm wearing normal clothes. I'm not wearing any cowboy boots or tight jeans or any type of jacket or hat or anything. And I come out and everybody, and it's to any song. I'm thinking, okay, country music, they're going to line dance. No, they put on literally any hip hop song, any R&B song, and they go out, they start line dancing, and everybody knew it. And it was like being in a flash mob. It was like being in a Thriller video. Everybody was a stranger. Then boom, the music came on, and everybody's like, "We're doing set B." Boom, 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 and I had no idea what was going on. So I guess you got to go there every week.
Yeah.
So,
honestly,
how hard is it to do? Go ahead. Sorry.
But I say honestly, it's a natural thing. Like I said, when we were growing up, this is what we do. I used to step. We did line dancing, so it's kind of like I said, it's kind of part of the culture, and I kind of usually get things down a little bit easier because I already naturally have a rhythm. So I don't know, it doesn't take me that long. But it is some dances out there that I do have to focus on because there's a lot out there. And I won't say that I know all of them, but for the most part, I can get down with all of them.
And you said you used to step. Speaking here with Prince-Tyson Gulley in our special exclusive segment to Wake Up Call Check Down with DT and PTG. And so looking at you knowing how to do that and you used to step and everything, I kind of want to go to a story that I have. So at Marywood University, I'm in the gym, right? And I do a show called MU Courtside, and it's still there to this day. It's almost 20 years old, and it was my broadcast of NCAA men's and women's basketball for D3. And so I'm up there. I had a break or whatever, and I'm up there with a bunch of people that were kind of closed-minded. And so they're used to cheerleaders and all that. And I'm sitting up in the bleachers, and I love rhythm. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, step team comes up, and there's only like maybe 7 people, and they go out and they start moving and they start, doing everything. And I don't even know how to describe. It was just kind of like you just kind of turned and stared and you were silent. And I remember when it was all done, one of the guys who was up there, he looked at me, he goes, "Do people really like seeing this?" And I was like, yes. I was like, there's something. And he said, he was like, "Well, do you have to have a certain," because everybody thinks cheerleaders got to be skinny and this and that. And he's like, you got all different shapes and sizes out there. And I said, yeah, but if you look at every single person, everyone could move. It's not about what shape or size you are. It's about your rhythm. It's about your ability to feel the music. And there was not an untalented person out there. I said, I'd rather watch them all day than watch a bunch of people just like put their hands up in the air and tell me to say something. I was all about the step team, and no offense to anybody, but I was all about the step team at Marywood. And so I like that you bring that up because I didn't know that about you. And it brings me back to that day where I don't remember anything else of any other group, dance team, cheer team, or anything, but I remember that day up on the bleachers when I watched the step team.
Yeah. It's amazing.
So
Just everybody in coordination with each other, just grooving. It's a good feeling. Like it's like I said, it really is the culture, man.
So did you do anything like contests or any, did you ever do anything like with the family together? Did you do it on your own? What was it like?
Yeah. So my mother and my auntie, they were in the step team, and it was for my church. We had a church step team. We won parades. We did contests. We run first place in a lot of different parades. And I ain't gonna lie, I still know most of what we did to this day. So it's just a good experience. And like I said, we ran it through our church, and that was part of what we did as far as the youth ministry went when I was in church and involved in that. So yeah, it was just like I said, growing up, just part of the culture, and it just stuck with me throughout there. We went from stepping to line dancing. So,
What do you like better?
Honestly, I don't step that much anymore. I'm more into line dancing, just because step is we're in coordination with each other. As line dancing is the same, but line dancing you get to play kind of your favorite tunes and dance to those, which I like a little bit better. So you playing some really great music, and then you line dancing to that, and everyone's doing it. So I like that better.
What was a better pickup line to the ladies, stepping or line dancing?
Probably neither. I mean, honestly, but I feel like nowadays, if you can line dance, you'll have an easier situation. Because I'm not going to say most people really don't know what it is. They want to learn, but they don't know. So I think line dancing now would be a nice little pickup line and go, oh, do you line dance? Well, let me show you. Let me take you. You know what I'm saying? Something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's really remarkable when you watch it. And like I said, it's to any song. It's not just to country music, and that's what misconception is. So do you line dance at all? I mean, have you done it when you were trapped at home during coronavirus? Did you practice in the house? Do you still do it or no?
Oh, I mean, honestly, I don't do it that often. It's more family function wise.
Okay.
But I always I'm always looking at different ones just to see it. I watch them on Instagram. I watch them on YouTube just to see what's new out there. I'm telling you, there's one popping up every day. There's a new line dance.
So you did it with the family when they came to visit?
Oh, yeah. I'll send you some videos.
Yeah, absolutely. Did the whole family come?
The whole family. Oh, of course, we're missing some people, but for the most part, it was a lot of our family.
So who was it all together? All your siblings? Like, who? Tell me everybody.
Most of my siblings. I think we were missing my younger brother and my younger sister. They live out of town, but I think that was the only two we were missing, and my older cousin. Other than that, everyone was there.
How's my man Antonio doing? I owe him a phone call.
He is doing great. He's stationed in Japan right now. He's out to sea somewhere that I'm not allowed to know, and yeah, he's doing good.
Yeah, man. I remember interviewing him when he was representing Navy at the American Athletic Summer Kickoff, and we were out in Newport, Rhode Island, Goat Island, and I got to talk to Tonio, and it was such a small world because I didn't know he was there at the time, and to know that he was in the Naval Academy and also a running back was kind of cool to be able to experience that and be around him in that way.
Yeah, he's doing well. He's doing well for himself. Now he's representing the Marine Corps, so it's a whole nother group for him.
Yeah, and he looks like you, but there's no dreads.
No dreads, yes.
When's the last time you got to see Tonio?
Actually, it was last year he came down.
Okay.
But he won't be back in the States for about another 6 months.
Okay.
But he is coming back. So
obviously prayers out to Tonio and everybody doing what they got to do, and seeing the family, having that, like you said, you didn't get to do a lot during COVID. There's a lot of people watching and listening right now that have experienced the same thing. I got to see my parents; they live close, but for like the first month and a half, I didn't hug and kiss my parents, and I could see how sad, especially my mom, how brokenhearted she was that she could like see her son, but I didn't know enough about the virus to know, like, could I give it to her? I didn't want to, I always give my parents a kiss on the cheek and a hug. And I just remember seeing that pain, and I remember, holidays being different and people not coming home and all of that. So what was it like to see the family again, and what did it do for you emotionally and kind of mentally? Because this has been a very taxing year and a half.
Honestly, it just gave me, it regave me the energy that I need. I mean, it's a certain type of energy you get when you just around your people. It's natural. It's hard to really talk about it. You know what I mean? It just made me realize, well, really what's important in life. And, it's a lot of things going on in the world. You feel some type of way about a lot of things, a lot of people in your life, but like life is too short. And when we're around our family, we don't think like that. We're not, it's all positivity when we're thinking about our family. So things of that nature, it just came all back around. And, everybody, to see everybody's smile on their face. We came together because my uncle, had got married. So that was another special thing. We're bringing someone new into the family and coming all together and just, building some new relationships with people. And then my cousin who came from Dallas, he's going to be getting married shortly. Nice. So it's just nothing but positive vibes going through here when meeting them. And COVID, like I said, it stopped a lot of that. Yeah. And just to have that back, like I said, it just gets you. It gets you to that point. You're like, yo, this is what it's about. Like, we need more of this. We need to come together more. We need to have more laughs, smiles, eat together, line dance together, and just enjoy each other's company. Because like I said, life is short, and one day it's just not going to be like that. We have a whole nother generation that's growing up under us. I have nieces and nephews, little cousins that are just turning 17 and 18 years old. Now I'm on the older side where I'm 28, 29, 30. These are my cousins. Now we have to show the way. We have to lead. So it's shifting. And as we see that, we might have to make sure that we're, being a positive role model for them. Everything's changing. And, like I said, that brought it all the way around when we came out, again.
Yeah. And I think it's a beautiful thing. Check down here with DT and PTG, myself, Dan Tortora. And here with me, Prince-Tyson Gulley inside the Cafe Kubal Studios, hanging out here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life, and Prince, a Syracuse Orange running back alum. Like you said, life comes full circle. Things change. You have to evolve. The NCAA, in a unique way, has kind of accidentally come full circle. They make a lot of money off the backs of people like yourself. You don't make any money. Now you can make money as a student athlete. So we've seen this full circle swing, and it's a definite change. How are you assessing name, image, and likeness as there is this evolution? And you talk about, your cousins coming after you, the next generation. Well, the next generation of student athlete is going to know what it's going to be like to be paid in what used to be an amateur sport. What are your thoughts on it?
Honestly, I agree with it. And as the new generation sees what it's like to get this, I hope they, at least give praise and respect to the people that came before them who didn't get that. And I think that it's a long time coming, but it's well needed. I had to think about it in terms of, investments, because when it came down to us getting paid or student athletes getting paid within college, the whole mix up was the fact that they're getting a free education. And I feel like if we're speaking from a business aspect, okay, say for instance, we're at Syracuse, where now it's probably $67,000 to go there probably, but I think it was 52 when I was going there. And 52 for 4 years is what? About 200 grand that you're spending. And then you got a little bit of some different elements of money coming in back then. Now I can almost say that we made certain players, or even players in general, made more for you than 200 grand. So it's just like, we give that back to you. So if we're speaking from a business aspect, then this should already been happening, because yes, you gave us $200, you fronted us $200 for education. Got it. But in return, we fill seats up. We get people to come. We get people to pay for the tickets and media and this and that. So I feel like the return always outweighs what we put in the work. So I think that's clear nowadays. And now we're at the point where that's just what it is now. And I hope that, of course, these athletes do right by the situation, because college is different. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. 21 years old, we're getting some money, and 18 to 21-year-olds getting money, and you don't know how to do it. You don't have financial literacy. You can get yourself into some issues. So I hope that they put some stuff in order to help people out with stuff of that nature. But honestly, across the nation, they were part of that movement to push it, you know. So I'm happy for that. And it is what it is. It's about time.
Yeah, you know, and if we look at this and we kind of look at the brass tacks of it all, and we say, okay, there's 30,000 fans that let's say come to the Dome for a game, and let's just say they spend $30. Obviously, there's luxury tickets and whatever. So let's say, so that's 900,000. So let's just make it an even million, right, with luxury. So $1 million a game if they never bought a drink, never paid for parking, and never bought merchandise, never bought food. So $1 million per game comes into Syracuse football, let's say. And then let's say, you know, 50 players on the team. And like you said, if tuition costs $50,000. So 50 players on the team, $50,000, right? And so we look at this and say, okay, if there's 50 players and 50 grand, then that's 2.5 million, right? But if there's $1 million per game and there's 6 home games, then that's $6 million. You add in all the merchandising and everything else and food and whatnot, let's call it $8 million. So if Syracuse football is making $8 million and they're spending $2.5 million on your education, they've already made $5.5 million above your free education by what you're saying.
And that's, I mean, and when we talk business, when we talk mathematics, let's get down to the basis of it. That's only fair. That's only fair, you know. And like I said, of course, everything entail within that 50 grand, room and board, books and everything. It's all entail with that. So like I said, you're making an investment on someone, but your return, they should get a little bit of a portion of that. They should get a percentage of that, because they're the reason why we're in business. Just think if a college team one day just went out there and said, "We not playing," what would that do?
Yeah. Yeah.
What would that do? It would shut down. It would shut everything down. Of course, no one ever came together like that, because it's just really come down for the love of the game. And it's been a steady system for so long, so no one was going against it. But now people were fighting. They have been fighting, and they got exactly what they wanted out of it. And like I said, I'm all for it. I want to see it. I just want to see these college athletes handle the situation right. You know, not do too much. Remember that, you know, have some etiquette within it, you know, just because I think I've seen multiple people signing different deals already. You know what I mean? Just think about if you on college campus and you got a $2 million deal with Nike, and, you know, you're a different person. It's not even like you need to be in school, you know. So I just want people to remember what the tradition inside of the school is about, you know, and not all the way give money the praise, because it's a little bit more deeper than what money is, you know, just to wear the jersey, you know, wear that. Yes, we need to be paid for what we do, but we need to honor and respect, you know, the culture, the school within itself. Like I said, and I'm glad the NCAA overturned all of that, because this is where it's need to be, and I'm glad for it.
Yeah, you know, I was just running the numbers while you were talking here for basketball, and by the numbers for basketball, and I lowballed it again, to pay for the student athletes on one Division I men's basketball team $50,000 a year, let's say, as a scholarship, based on what they make in tickets alone. Again, no parking, no merchandise, no food, no drinks. Over $20 million in the Dome after they pay for all the free education. So you put all this together and say, from men's basketball in Syracuse, for Syracuse football and Syracuse Division I men's basketball, you could be making in any given year, not including all the, the food and the drink and the parking and the merchandising and everything, you could be making over $25 million after you're paying for all this stuff, that after you're paying for the education of all these players. So the reality of it all is it doesn't even out. A school can't say, well, we have to pay for all these education, so that's why we have to sell the tickets, because I didn't include luxury box seats. I didn't include, all of that, all of that side of it. I didn't include people sitting in the VIP seats on the court or anything like that. So, what might cost $1,000, I didn't include season ticket holders. I included single game tickets. So, just looking at the numbers of this, we're talking about the fact that they're not breaking even. They're not making a couple thousand. They're not making a couple, 20,000, 40,000, 100,000 left over. They're making millions upon millions of dollars at schools like Syracuse after they foot the bill for your education as a student athlete.
Yeah, and like I said, it's only right now, and it's about the time, and I'm glad to where it's going, and this is where it needs to stay. And of course, I guess the bigger issue is, should Reggie Bush get his Heisman back?
Yeah, that's another question, and that's the other thing is, when we look at certain situations like this, I'm just running the numbers too low. And now Syracuse lowball because they only have like 30,000 fans compared to places that have 100,000. If you took 30,000 fans based on the numbers I have, paid for the education of the players, and you ended up with over $5 million times 130 Division I-A FBS schools, that means the lowball number that each of the schools collectively make together in FBS football is $715 million after the payment of education. $715 million if they never sold a shirt or a hot dog.
That can be divvied out some way. You can't tell me that can't be divvied out some way.
Well, I want to know, are there that many cracks in the building? Is there that many weeds on the ground? Is there that many, pieces of the grass on campus that need to be mowed and, mouths? I mean, I understand you got to pay for the upkeep, but, I'm thinking, running the number Syracuse for two sports alone, I think $25 million left over is going to help you, fix a few cracks and, maybe pay for food services and make sure you keep the lights on in the classrooms.
And I don't even know. Did you mention that even if, like, say for instance, you make a bowl game, that's extra money?
Yeah, it's extra money. I mean, yeah, that's and I didn't put into effect when Syracuse put somebody on their schedule and then that goes the other way around. But then Syracuse, has Middle Tennessee State come in, pay him $900,000. That $900,000 just to have them come in and play, where a team will pay somebody like Clemson might pay the Citadel $1 million. Then the Citadel's got that million on top of everything else that they have. So listen, I'm going to be real about this. I'll put a team together and play Syracuse if you're going to give us $1 million to be at the Dome for 3 hours.
Absolutely. Why not?
But what we're trying to say here in Check Down with DT and PTG essentially is that there's so much money that is being made off the backs of men and women that are student athletes, and none of you saw a cent of a cent of a cent. You didn't see a hair of a penny, yet there's millions and millions of dollars coming into each school. And then take all of that away and just look at the NCAA. In 2019, the NCAA's revenue is $1.1 billion.
There's got to be some, like I said, they're doing it now, but there's no way that couldn't be divvied up to give, the people who are making this business thrive, some type of compensation. And of course, that's where we're at today. But I mean, come on, like, you have to think about it. You can't. The fact that it took me a while to even understand, because I ain't gonna lie, at one point I was just like, well, they are giving us, free education and, room and board. We get to eat a lot. We don't really want for nothing, to be honest, if you want to be truthful. But even in the grand scheme of things, that's not how business works. And this is a business world. Money makes the world go round, and they didn't do right in that situation. They got over for years. No more.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, when I'm going back and I'm looking at the numbers this week, and I'm looking up the NCAA president, Mark Emmert, in 2017, 4 years ago, and that these contracts continue to, typically be inflated over the years. They go up, they don't go down. 4 years ago, he made over $3 million. There were other officials within the NCAA that made at least $1 million. And then there were other, people in the upper echelon of the NCAA that made $500,000, $1.1 billion. When you hear me tell you the NCAA declares itself a non-for-profit and they forked in over $1 billion, does that make any logical sense to you as a former student athlete that they're a non-for-profit that's making more profit than most businesses?
Well, now just understanding, what you can do with a non-for-profit from a business side, that was the most strategic thing the NCAA can do. But if you're on the other side of that, then you're like, well, hold on, that's what we're talking about. We want more compensation out of that. But yeah, as a I'm not gonna lie. Look, as a business, as being a nonprofit, there's so many benefits. So like as the NCAA, they know what they were doing. They know exactly what they were doing. And they were winning and they continue to win. But no, it's not logical to do that if you're the person that's putting all of that on your back. We can't understand that, So it's just like I said, as I've learned about, the business and how to work the system, they've known this for years, for decades.
Yeah.
And that's how they've been able to thrive in for so long. So
you played college football at Syracuse in the past. As a former student athlete, I'm going to read this to you and then I'm going to tell you who said it. So I want you to really key in on these words. We read them earlier this week and I want to read them again. And I'll tell you who the person is after. Quotes. So this was the question of back in August of 2020 when they were trying to figure out if they were going to have a college football season or not. It was made clear that there was really no control over college football, conference by conference, team by team. So this person said this, quote, "We have no authority to do that. We don't have authority to say to a school, yeah, okay, we know that your conference isn't playing and you want to go ahead and play over here. I may think that that's a silly idea, but it's not up to me. It's not up to anybody. That school has its own authority to do that. Now, its conference colleagues can say, if you do that, we're going to throw you out of the conference. That's fine, but they still can do what they want there. That's never been the prerogative of the NCAA, and in my opinion, it never should be." Went on to say, "I get that people want simple answers. I get that it's frustrating that some conferences are playing and some aren't right now. That's just the way it has to be to do this inside college sports. It's not right or wrong, or better or worse. When people say, well, if we just had a czar to come in and say we're going to make a decision, that'll be it. History, if it's taught us anything, people love the concept of a czar, but they hate czars. Authoritarianism is a really fun concept. It just sucks when people actually have to live under it. Sure, it's fun to talk about it, but nobody who actually advocates for it has actually lived inside of it. The NCAA has never had oversight over the bowl games or postseason play in the highest level of football." And then, on to say more from that. The person that is quoted as saying those statements, that they have no jurisdiction, no authority to stop anybody from playing or anybody from moving a conference, someone who literally came out and issued a statement saying we cannot control college football, is the NCAA president, Mark Emmert. So I ask you, as I've asked some of your colleagues from Syracuse football history, if the NCAA president has no jurisdiction and cannot prevent anything in college football from happening, why are they paying him?
And you know what? I actually don't have an answer for that because it doesn't even make sense to pay him if he doesn't have any say-so in conference play or any jurisdiction. I can't understand it. Like I said, it's so many loopholes that can be played within this system. To back out when you want to back out, to step in when you want to step in, it's all a game. It's all a game. So, like I said, I don't understand. If he doesn't have the jurisdiction to make those decisions, there's no reason for him to have any say so in anything that's going on within college football. And it's amazing to me the rules that NCAA places on the whole league. But then just to say that says like, well, we got to step out of it. So it's like I pick and choose when I want to be in there. I'm 1 foot in, I'm 1 foot out. You know, oh, you got to take care of that. You know, that's not my baby this time. But if it's something else, then, oh, well, I don't think they deserve to get paid because this and that. You know, it's a game. And it's a money game, and there's money involved. We're going to speak up when we want to speak up. We're going to shh when it's time to be quiet.
And the thing that I don't understand is, and I brought this up on the show this week, and I've had the absolute pleasure of talking with other players, like I said, in Syracuse football history, like yourself, Prince, as Prince and I are talking here in our segment exclusive to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora with Prince-Tyson Gulley, check down. And that we do here on Wednesdays, typically a couple times a month, Wednesdays from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern time. You're watching on Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT, Facebook.com/LiveNowDT, and on YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT. I've had the honor and the pleasure this week of speaking with Eric Kroom, Jay Bromley, Julian Wiggum, as well as Antoine Bailey. And all of these gentlemen have been talking with me on this. So I ask you this question. If Mark Emmert, the NCAA president, says, I can't control college football, that's not my job, but he's the NCAA president, and this is NCAA Division I-A football, here's my question to you. If you got suspended by the NCAA, who has no jurisdiction over college football, how can they suspend you? If you knew that now, and he said that today, and you were playing tomorrow, and he suspended you for 3 games, would you go to Dino Babers and say, he's got no jurisdiction over us, I'm playing? How can someone hand a penalty to you if they can't tell a school that they can't play, and they can't tell a conference they can't play, then how can they tell Prince-Tyson Gulley, a player, that you can't play?
And that's just like I said. They pick and choose exactly when they want to step in and when they don't. I understand the levels because obviously it's a multi-layered system. So regardless of the fact NCAA is over all of this. All right. Now, under that, you have the jurisdiction of the school or the conference. So it honestly has to go through NCAA to the presidents of the conference or school, however you want to say, or even the chancellor. So it's a system of how it all works down. And you're right. They have no jurisdiction, and it comes down to whether the school or anybody wants you not to play. So if we would have knew this back then there's a lot of situations that would have been stopped. We don't know this, and this is great that now everything is at the forefront. People are educating themselves on the laws and how the NCAA is working, and when they choose to fight for us and when they choose to fight against us. We need to know. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. What were you going to say?
I said we these are things that as a student athlete you need to be aware of, and you need to learn so you can know where you stand when you're in this system, because that's all it is. It's a multi-layered system. It's a tier system. NCAA is at the top. They're not handling what the conference is handling because that's the conference's job. You know, so there's just things you have to look at it. We thinking that everything comes from the NCAA, the compliance from NCAA, but that's not how it goes. There's another system under that, you know, and honestly, I didn't know that. And honestly, I know it now, but it's just like the only thing we can do now is teach the knowledge to the people under us so they can know and not make the mistakes that we've done.
Knowing what you know now and having gone through it, how did you feel as a college student athlete when it came to the NCAA? How did they make you feel? Did they make you feel anything while you were playing? Did you have any air of it when you were there? Did it frustrate you? Did it upset you? Were you fine with it? Did it not matter? Were you aloof to it? Does it matter now? Looking back on your playing days, bring me into that.
Yeah, and you're pretty much airheaded, you know, when you're coming into you coming into a D1 program. This is what stuff people dream of. They teach you from day one that the statistics are very low for people to even be involved in this type of world. So they got you by just being in the system, you know. And I give kudos to people who stepped up and then like, no, this is not right, because I read an article. Maurice Claret has been talking about this. I'm from Ohio, so that was a big thing, you know. And it made me come back and realize, like, oh, this has always been a conversation. Yeah. You know, it always has been a conversation, but it's just certain people. Me personally, is just coming from where I come from. I'm happy to be a part of this. I'm happy. I didn't know if I would get into college football. So I'm just giving my all. I'm doing what I need to do to stay here and to be here, because, you know, no one gets these opportunities, you know, and we never look at the business side of things. We know it's more of one of the shut up and dribble type of situations. But in this case, it's shut up and run the ball, you know. So I couldn't look at it from all those levels and from those perspectives. So it's just,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's just from what I see it right now, like I said, the best we can do now is to continue to educate the student athlete and let them know that, hey, listen, you are a student athlete, but you also are much more than that. You are in a system that thrives because of you. It thrives because of you. And of course, like I said, we didn't have that type of feeling. You kind of know it, but it's just like, okay, what do we do about it? Now you know what you can do with it. Now you know what you can do about it.
If players at even a single university, let alone multiple universities, if you all stood in solidarity and said, listen, we're sick of the NCAA making money off of our backs. We're sick of certain schools being punished and other schools not being punished. There's inequality in punishments. There's ridiculousness in some of these rules. We're not making any money. They're a non-for-profit making billions of dollars. We're not going to play. We're going to sit on the field. All the people are going to come into the dome, and the players are not going to come out, or we're just going to sit down on the field. If you all stopped, the coaches don't have jobs. The staff of the coaches don't have jobs. The ADs don't have jobs. The presidents and the chancellors are not making money for the schools for the upkeep. The NCAA has nothing to put on television, and the entire castle of sand falls. What do you think about that? Because you just said we as the players have the power. They tell us, they get us by having us come in and saying, hey, only a few tiny percentage of you get to play D1 athletics, and an even smaller percent will be professionals in this. So you really just got to be happy to be here. If you guys said, you know what, you're making money off of our backs, you're taking advantage of us, we got to do this, that, and the other. We can't do this, we can't do that. Every time we turn around, we're breaking a rule we don't even know we're breaking. We're not even allowed to have a YouTube channel to play our music because somehow that connects to our sports and we can't make money off of our music. So we have to wait 4 years to put our music out. And by then it could be past this or past that, or somebody copped it, stole it, did whatever to it. So if they're doing all these things to you and you said, listen, we're not playing until this is fixed. Could you imagine what that world would look like?
Like, yeah, honestly, yes. It's just like, it's the sit down. It would cause a tornado through the whole NCAA, and they would have had to put us in the position where they're putting us in now, because like I said, the truth is we do have the power, but we don't recognize that because we're thrown so much stuff. We're thrown so much of everything, but in all totality, it kind of sums up to not really that much when people are making money. And once again I say money makes the world go round, and it's cool when someone else is making it, but when it's the people who are actually working for it, it doesn't make sense. So just for them stepping up and recognize, like, hey, look, we go out here, we're not gonna do anything. We're just gonna sit on the sidelines. We're not gonna play the game. it would crash the NCAA system. It would crash it. They wouldn't know what to do. It would drive everybody haywire. It would have been the most powerful movement in collegiate sports. But like I said, now we're here.
Yeah.
Don't even have to do that anymore. It is what it is now. And all I say is to these players is just take advantage of these opportunities, but remember that it can be taken away at any point in time, because I'm going to tell you right now, that's what it's going to come down to. It's going to be a zero tolerance thing. It's going to come down to this. It's going to come down, we'll have a situation, this and that. Oh, he's out. He's done. You know, I've seen so much, you know, under the scenes where, you know, they have given chances and chances and chances. Now you start to pull money out from them. You're gonna have to run like a tight line between everything. You know, you're on thin ice now. You're on thin ice. Every move that you make is being watched, which it already has been, but it's to a higher degree. So proper etiquette, man. I just want the players to do right. And remember that, you know, this is a sport. It's not for long. You do the best that you can do with it. Enjoy it while you have it. And like I said, take advantage of it, because really and truly, you guys are the prize. This game doesn't go nowhere without you. And always remember that.
That coming from Prince-Tyson Gulley, half of Check Down here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You see it a couple times a month on Wednesdays from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Watching us on Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT, Facebook.com/LiveNowDT, YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT. And we appreciate you being here inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios as we have Check Down once again with DT, Dan Tortora, and PTG, Prince-Tyson Gulley, Syracuse Orange Football alum. So how do we do this right? There's so many questions. I've addressed many of them. I call it the meaty lasagna because it is. And being Italian, wearing my Italy, celebrating the morning after Italy advanced to the final of Euro 2020. And it made me happy, but also broke my heart a little bit because I'm Spanish and Italian, so I had to lose one to gain one. But as I'm here this morning looking at this meaty lasagna, my question to you, Prince, is how do we do this right? How do we take care of name, image, and likeness right? Understanding that now boosters are allowed to hand out money, which used to be a fine, but they have to prove this, but then it's a gray area, and you can hire your own agent, but not everybody has an agent, and it doesn't look like agents are going to be given to them unless the school decides to foot the bill, which they probably won't. And agents and lawyers and tax people and, whatever. So with all this stuff going on and kind of open season on this, and you can hire an agent, but the agent in the contract can't say that they're going to work with you past collegiately, which we know there's going to be, some agent's going to write in somewhere, hey, I got you now, I got you forever, because why would they give you up? So someone's going to break the rule, I would think. Boosters and what they can do, as well as, looking at certain deals. And if I want to work with Coca-Cola and I'm playing for Syracuse and Syracuse has a deal with Pepsi, can Syracuse University bar me from working with Coca-Cola? I sign a $20,000 deal and they tell me to give the money back. Plus we have other issues of what if somebody sits on the board of trustees? What if somebody, is a booster and they have some pull with the university? What if players start fighting with each other? What if somebody backs the wrong player and then they want to give the money to the starter? There's a billion things that could go wrong. How do we do it right?
You know what? Honestly, we're going to learn through all of this how to do it right, because just like how you said, there's so many different variables and possibilities that can go wrong that we're going to really have to figure all of this out as we go. It's so much. It's so much. Like I said, when it comes down to it all, they have to. I believe the parents need to be involved somehow, some way, just to make sure the decisions are coming out the best way. I feel like you have to be really smart, and you really have to treat yourself from now on when you step into college and all of this is going on. You're a business. You're a business now. You're a business entity. And when you're that, you have to carry yourself in that light. So there's going to be, like I've been talking about etiquette.
I've been talking about, presentation, how you present yourself. There's going to be a lot of different things that has to be done, because remember, these are 18-year-old to 21-year-old kids. You do not know anything about what's going on in this world.
Yeah.
You know nothing. You know nothing. So throughout this switch and this change, we're going to learn through the downfalls and all of this, how to get it right. There's going to be more sanctions that come up, with what's going on. Yes, the floodgates are opening, but it's going to end up getting tighter, because it's just going to be some things that just can't make sense. Just like how you said it. Syracuse is backed by Nike. There's no way as a player that you're going to get signed by Reebok and Adidas and feel like you can walk on the field with us. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. So there are going to be sanctions. There are going to be some tightened rules to it, but that's just going to be your choice. You're going to have to take it for what it is. They're opening the floodgates, like I said, but you have to take everything that they're going to give, but you have to remember that you are a business, but you're also working inside of a business. So you can't, what's the word of it? Conflict of interest can never take part in when you're in business. So that's what's going to step up and where it really gets a little different as far as the variability of different things that can happen. So I don't know. It's going to take time. There's no right answer for this. There's no way to do it right, because we haven't done this before. We're going to learn through it, and that's how we're going to get it right.
I don't know if anybody's given a better answer. That's the best one. The way that you figure out how to be a good husband is to be one. The way you figure out how to be a good wife is to be one. The way you figure out how to be a good parent is to be one. The way you figure out how to be a good friend and a good business. I didn't know how to be a business owner before I became a business owner. I knew who I am. I know what I stood for, but I had to believe in myself and my ideals and literally build out of the thin air in front of my face and create it and turn it into something. But they say you can learn from people. You can learn from watching and different things. You can pick up different things from people, but ultimately you pave your own way, and it's trial by error. You have to grow and adjust and learn, and you might get in a groove and do something right, and it's just working, and then that thing doesn't exist anymore. You drive down that road to work every single day. Now that road's closed and there's a detour. Well, now you got to find a different way to get to work, but that way is the way you've gone for 4 years, and it saves you 5 minutes on your path. You can't sit and complain about that every single day. You got to find another way to get to work. Now you got to leave 10 minutes earlier. You got to figure out how to adjust. Life is about planning as much as it's about ad-libbing. And as much as they plan, they're going to have to ad-lib a lot in this one, Prince.
Yes, it's fairly new. It's a new system. We have to learn. We're going to go through bumps and bruises. There's going to be a lot of different situations, a lot of unhappy people early on. But like I said, it's going to smooth out, but it's going to take time, man. For it to work, that's what it needs to do. It needs to take time, because, like I said, we just don't know. We've never seen this system before. We never have. So we have to go through it and find out.
Oh, we lost Prince here for a second, so we'll see if we can bring him back in. But we've lost him here for a moment, and hopefully we'll be able to bring him back on with us. But yeah, just speaking about the situation, speaking about the issue, speaking about exactly what's been going on and the unfortunate reality of where we sit with everything right now, which is there's a lot of questions. There's not a lot of answers. We're going to have to grow together. We're going to have to learn together, and we're going to have to do what we can to get to a positive place together. And it's going to take time, and it's going to take patience, and it's going to take some things probably going off the rails potentially. And because there's not concrete rules, because there's not answers to the questions, because it is still being made and put together, because it's taking time to grow this flower, We're not going to know if this flower is edible or not, or if it's poisonous or dangerous. We're not going to know what it's going to fully look like. All we're going to know is that we planted the flower, and we hope that it grows, and we hope that it bears fruit, and we hope that the fruit's not poisonous, and we hope that it doesn't kill the other plants around it. It's a lot of faith. It's a lot of hope. It's a lot of trial and error. We planted the seed. The flower is growing. We don't know what the flower's going to be. And that is name, image, and likeness. That's NIL. We've planted the seeds. We're waiting for it to grow. And we have no idea if this is going to be a Venus flytrap or a rose. And how many thorns are going to be on this rose? It's a question we're going to have to probably keep asking and answer as we go. Just like life, we don't have all the answers. Just like life, we have to plan as much as we have to ad-lib. Just like life, sometimes you have to trip in order to realize how to get your feet right. I want to thank Prince for being a part of Check Down, as always. Check Down here with us Wednesdays from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Time, a couple times a month, typically every other Wednesday. We did take a week off, and we're happy to be back here with you. So Check Down with DT and PTG, myself, Dan Tortora, and Prince-Tyson Gulley inside the Cafe Kubal Studios. We will take a step aside, and we'll come back right after this and get you set for fantasy football and who the sleepers are this year, as well as who the overrated players are. So underrated, overrated, sleepers, and the ones that so many people might be drafting that you could just let them draft. We'll talk about all that coming up here where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Thank you again to Prince-Tyson Gulley, somebody that I appreciate and I consider part of the extended family. God bless you, brother, and to your family. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, is our home for our Liverpool Athletics monthly broadcast brought to you by Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Make sure you find your way over to Avicoli's every Tuesday through Sunday from lunchtime, dinner time, as well as going and grabbing a drink. You can enjoy them on 4 different ways. So when you go to Avicoli's on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, you can go to the more casual pizza side, the fine dining, the bar, as well as their outdoor dining, and of course for takeout, delivery, and catering. You can also connect with Avicoli's by calling 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100, as well as myavicolis.com. That's myavicolis.com. Nothing like helping out a local community, beautiful place that's been here for decades as our neighbor and right down the road, literally walking distance from Liverpool High School. Canine Campground and Canine Camp Dog Daycare, there for you for long and short-term care for your furry-loving friends. Look no further than the family at Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Campground, because when you drop off your dog for a day or a few days, you're going on vacation, whatever that may be, you want to know they're being taken care of. You want to know that they're loved. You want to know they're around other dogs that you can trust, that those dogs will be safe and everybody will play nice. So Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Campground Dog Boarding does their due diligence, does the background, checks on all the animals, and brings each animal in after properly, carefully going through everything to make sure that that animal is safe to be around your animal and safe to be on their own and everything. So they really do everything they can to make sure that each animal that comes in is prepared to be there for the day for a few hours, to be around other dogs, as well as to, be there for their own cabin and have their own time by themselves. And dogs can enjoy the campground the way that they want to. They can hang out in the cabin, or they can go and play with all the other dogs. And at the Camp Dog Daycare, there's little dogs, big dogs, literally of all shapes and sizes. And so I just want to thank Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Campground Dog Boarding for literally thinking through the process to make sure that it's not just a place to bring your dog, but a safe place and a safe haven and an extension of the family that you can bring your dog to every single week. And you can get to the campground by going to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, and they're right down the road from each other, right off of Bridge Street, right where BJ's Wholesale Club is. So you can check them out there. PB&J's Lunch Box, 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York, is their new street-side cafe home for you. You know their food truck. You can find their food truck all throughout the community. And today being Wednesday, you can find them from 4 to 8 p.m. at Great Northern Mall here on July 7th. You're constantly following their food truck around, following that flavor, almost being lifted off your feet and following the scent of their food. And now you can go to the Street Side Cafe for breakfast, lunch, and dinner Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. So they took the food truck and made an extension of that to have an actual restaurant right there for you on the main road at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. So make sure you head out there for the award-winning peanut butter and jelly grilled beautiful creation, as well as so much more. So we also have Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics there for you on 791 West Genesee Street in Skinny Atlas, New York. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics cares about each and every single one of their patients. I've been there for almost a decade, and whether it's preventative care, rehab, physical therapy, or surgery, Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics tells you what the options are, walks you through them, and listens to their patients. That goes such a long way, and it is beautiful to see the work that they have done, the people that they've helped, and the success stories that they've had. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Call them today at 315-685-7544. That's 315-685-7544. With that being stated here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, for those of you tuning in here to this broadcast, we're going to actually be ending this video and starting a new one. So whoever's connected to this broadcast, as you know, every single Wednesday in the second hour, we do the Fantasy Football Power Hour, which gives us an opportunity to speak strictly on fantasy football. And in doing that, we always have it be its own video so that you can go and pull it up whenever you need it. Numerous videos all together become essentially a virtual handbook to each season of fantasy football. So you can go to wakeupcalldt.com to the fantasy football tab and check out these videos there, as well as on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. So for Check Down with myself, DT, and PTG inside the Cafe Kubal studios, we will end this video and speak with Prince in a couple weeks, every other week, doing Check Down on Wednesdays from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and we'll be taking a step aside to start a new video. So those of you on Facebook and YouTube, we will be back momentarily.